If you're spiritual but still stressed about money, this is for you.
And if you budget perfectly but still feel stuck, this one's for you too.
Because both sides are missing the same thing.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Hey friends, it's your favorite mindset and manifestation coach, Brooke-Sidney, here with Make Miracles Manifest. And I am so excited to have the Tanisha Davis, okay, the one and only from Fun and Budget. So make sure y'all go follow her. So today we're going to be talking about money and manifestation and so much more.
All right, so yeah, I do have a question. When it comes to manifesting, what would you say are some of your practices or habits when it comes to like manifesting money? Because I think we all know, like on my half, it's the more practical. You're budgeting what you have because you have a job, you have a 9 to 5, or you have, money's coming in, and then we're working with that aftermath. But what if money's not necessarily coming in? Like I'm in this place right now, money's not coming in.
Right.
So what would you say are some?
So I would feel like there's two ways that you can do this. Like if you have, the easiest way is to actually have an idea. I know we talked about this a little bit, but to have an idea of what that actually looks like for you. So it would be easier if you were like, I know that right now I'm going to, I know we've talked about this, but I'll still use it as an example. I'm going to write books, and X, Y, and Z books, I see them bringing in to me $5,000, $10,000 a month. Or I see myself now going out and traveling and reporting and getting paid for the stories for your travel, stuff like that. That way, most of us are able to easily anchor into a vision that we have some sort of specificity to it or clarity to it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's the easiest. Right.
And so where that fits in with me, because there was a time, remember, we've known each other since early 20s. So there was a time where all I saw was right. I wanted to be a writer. There was no tunnel vision. I was very clear on that. But now the new me, the me today, that's not my truth anymore. Like while I love creating, I don't necessarily see myself, like my dream isn't to be this award-winning writer anymore. Right? So it leaves me feeling a little not clear. So it's like, now what?
So then the other way that I find that you can manifest money, or it's really anything. Money is just what we're focusing on, but it's really anything, is when you start to see yourself as a person who has it. So remember, the how is not our problem.
Absolutely.
Right? So in this case, you would envision yourself as the person who continues to go on all the trips. Money is just flowing in. Money, you're not focusing on the how the money is coming in or where it is coming in. Only that you are enjoying being the beautiful natural recipient of the money that is flowing to you, that you are, wherever you go, interacting with things that are making you be more and more abundant. And so you really start constructing your identity and your state not around the thing or the job or the program or the book or the production, right? What's a good way to put it? The vehicle with which money comes in, just that you are the state of the person where money always comes to me.
Yes.
And when you can live that with your whole chest,
yes,
right, in the same way, and you actually remove the doubts around how it's coming in, but that it is coming in. And you see this so often, I'm gonna be honest, with you see it often with wives, right? Especially stay-at-home moms. They don't per se have a job, but they're like, hey, I want our household's money to increase. The next thing you know, the tax refunds come in. The next thing you know, that they were like, we weren't even expecting this. Next thing you know, the husband gets a raise. The next thing you know, opportunities come to me. Opportunities come to my family, right? That's the easiest way, because oftentimes when we're by ourselves, we are focusing on a particular vehicle or a particular path for the money to come to us.
Hence the job.
Right. But that's why I've seen it come very easily for, I'm saying to say like the wives or whatever, because they're not focused. They don't have a standard. It's not their own sole way of money coming in, but yet they're seeing increases. Things are happening. Money is continuing to move. And so the most abundant people too have multiple channels of income or multiple ways.
Yes.
But I think that it ultimately comes down to whether we want to say law of attraction, being on the emotional guidance scale, you're at number 10 where you feel abundant, you're grateful, your joy, your happiness. At that state, at that level, everything is coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a state of constant receiving of good and abundant things, right? And if we think about it in law of assumption terms, your identity is one where you are just abundant. You can't help but be abundant.
Yeah.
And you see abundance and opportunities and money and love and joy wherever you go. You're this person where, because I always say to some of my clients too, does it matter about the money or does it matter about the experience of what you get to have? Does it matter if you paid $5,000 for those first class seats or that you got upgraded to them? Does it matter if you, you bought the trip to Africa or that it was given to you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or provided for you,
Yeah.
or that doors opened up for you. Does it matter if you, your car or whatever, you need X, Y, and Z car, and then somehow I've heard there's people getting gifted the same exact car.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what channel that comes to you, but when you have the mindset, the identity, and the state, which vibration, however, it's the same thing, in which you operate in that gift, as we say in spiritual circles, you were walking in that favor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts coming to you, and in that essence, you will have opportunities coming to you that you're like, oh, I think I want to continue that repeat. I think I want to keep having money come to me that way. And the things you're like, I don't know how I want it to come right now. That's fine. Turn off the doubt with it and be confident in that I've always been abundant. It's going to keep coming. This is for me. Everything is happening for me right now. And I'm in the perfect place at the perfect time. And it's all lining up for my good.
Yes.
It's going to keep flowing.
And I think that that's so important, again, to know, to remember, because remember, we're right now in the United States of America, they're saying, we don't even know how many people, but remember the 400,000 Black women who lost their jobs since, if that's just Black women, imagine the nation as a whole.
That's right.
How many people across the board have lost jobs, have been laid off, are out there still looking for employment, And so that was my question. It's like, how do you start from scratch? How do you start from scratch when you feel like I'm doing interviews, I'm putting out applications and nothing's coming, And I love that. I love that exercise about just going into your imagination.
And if I may, you're not starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm. But no, I'm talking as a whole.
No,
where there's some people
but that's what I'm trying to say is that. So I can speak to, for example, I had a client that was doing engineering, like IT engineering, and they wanted to go into development. Mm-hmm. And even though they got put over they had gotten the job, they didn't think they were going to be able to get the job. They didn't think that they would have, they were starting over because they're two different lanes. Yeah. Right. And this was an experienced IT person. And I remember the biggest reframe and the biggest click was you're not starting over. You're actually moving forward. Mm-hmm. And that kind of reframe, you aren't, because you're bringing all the experiences, talents, gifts, perspectives, wisdom, opportunities, all of that with you. So anything that you go to now, you get all of that.
Yeah. And I know for me, it's the fact that.
And anybody else, listening.
Yeah. It's not even the starting over, not starting over, but the fact that I do feel like I want to create from scratch. Everything I said I don't want any of that anymore. Mm-hmm. So I do feel like I'm coming from a place where I want to create from scratch.
Something new.
Mm-hmm.
Something new.
And I love what we say. For me, it's always been going with the fun, what feels fun, what feels fun.
Right.
Not going too far down the road of, trying to figure it out, because that's not our business, right? So just following the fun, following the joy, going into my imagination, because vacation is my boo thing, of saying, but this is how the vacation feels. This is what gets to happen, because at the end of the day, just like the examples I shared before, when I was trying to spend this money, but all these discounts were coming. I didn't, I was still getting all the things I wanted, but not for the price that I thought it was going to cost. So I think that's good. That feels good. That's good, solid advice.
Yeah. And I think it's always remembering. I feel like we're so powerful. We're such powerful creators. And I feel like even in my own life, whenever I wasn't manifesting something that I wanted to have, it's because I forgot who I was. And so I would encourage everybody, like, remember who you are. Remember how powerful you are. Remember you are, a gift from God, however you want to speak about it and think about it, because that is our truth.
Yes.
We are powerful creators.
Yes.
And we can do anything that we put our minds to, really. And I think it just begins with starting with that state of who we are. So we have talked about a lot.
We did. Hopefully you can get something
right
from it.
Right. So if you were gonna fix one money thing this year,
or one money belief.
That's right. I was gonna right. That's inherent. What would you fix?
I would fix what's the word? I would fix my relationship aware of how I see where my abundance comes from. Because I did not realize before losing a job how much, what's the word, Brooke? I'm like, words just be, I didn't realize how much importance, how much weight I was placing on having a 9-to-5 job.
Right. This was your comfort zone.
Yep. My abundance.
It was
abundant. Because I always felt like money was always being replenished. No matter what I spent, it was always being replenished. So I still want that to be my truth. That's still my truth. But I want to work on how I see myself outside of a 9-to-5. I want that to be my truth, but I don't want it to come, because jobs come easy and they still come easy. I'm consciously choosing not to go back to a 9-to-5. So I'm working with that.
Right. I love that. And for me, in this next season of my life, I know that I can manifest money. I know that I can receive money and hold money. But my goal is to My goal is to continue multiplying money. And I want money to have a job. I want my money to have a job. And I want my money to be working when I'm not working, at greater levels, greater dimensions, greater multiplication than it ever has before. The current Brooke-Sidney, she's doing okay. I want to make sure future Brooke-Sidney is doing amazing, right? Like farther, and I'm actually encouraging myself to even dream bigger, greater than I've ever had before.
Yes.
What I'm calling for me, my money map is just, if I would look at it, what it was today and what like my 20-year-old self thought, I mean, it's night and day. So I can never, the weird thing is too, at first I was like, I wish I had been thinking about this. I wish I'd been thinking about this like 10, 20 years ago, but I didn't. I didn't have that. So we can always start where we are now. Like that's the kind of like, what were you going to fix or whatever. It's from this point forward is that my future me has money that has multiplied in great amounts. Whether I brought in or manifested 10 more here, it's tenfold in the multiplication. Yes. So that's,
and I would say, and I know we're wrapping up, but one more thing. That same thing. It was like, I didn't start working on my relationship with money till I was like 40 years old. And even in that, so that's late, right? By definition of, when they say if you start at 20, if you start at 30, compound interest and compound and, all of that. But even starting at 40, it was still enough to get me, multiple millions. So it's never too late.
Never too late.
Plus, even with this whole manifestation thing, we've seen it where somebody, day one, now this is real, in my real life, day one, borrowing money from me, by day 5, the sky.
Right.
Like what? Like wealthy.
That's right.
Wealthy. But they have always walked in that energy of everything we're talking about today.
Everything works out for me.
Yep. So we've seen it in practice multiple times through multiple examples, through ourselves. So yeah. But yeah, like you said, letting go of that job, I'm just being reminded where I get to do the work. And I welcome that work this month.
And we're going to do it together.
This month. Not the whole year.
This month's goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for tuning in with us. And we're hoping this is something that we don't just do one time, that we can continue these conversations.
Exactly.
So make sure that you subscribe to both of our channels. And more importantly, put comments below.
And thumbs up.
That's right.
Yes. Talk to us in the comments. Yes. We talk back.
That's right.
And let us know, like what we said before, what you're working on, what you're changing, what your ultimate goal is this month or year.
And we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.